All right. So this is Taco's Technology Lunch and Learn. Thank you for coming out. Today we've got Kevin with us from OneCloud. And I'm James from Shared Resources. Grateful to serve. Our agenda is going to be, we're going to start with talking about what is Tech Tuesday. And Tech Tuesday is free tacos. In addition to free tacos, it's the Chamber's only technology-focused recurring event. I'm looking for a way to turn off my sound, but that's all right. It is about continuous professional development. So if your professional job includes any kind of technology, then this is a great place for you to be. It's wonderful because it builds community. Tech Tuesdays do. It increases the value you get from your chamber membership. We talk about relevant topics and engaging speakers like Kevin. And we have a variety of discussions, and we will drive that the way we want to as we progress through this. And there's free dessert. And I found this great graphic that says, "Wanna taco about IT." So. Let's talk about future sponsors for a minute. There's no meeting on July 9th. On July 16th, I will be running the meeting again, and I might just talk about myself. We'll see. July 23rd. Oh, we have amazing stuff happening July 23rd and July 30th, even better. And we welcome volunteers and recommendations. Let me talk a little bit about shared resources. We provide as fixed cost as possible IT support to small businesses that can't afford their own IT department, or that they're smart enough to recognize that a team of engineers is more powerful than a single engineer. Effectively, what we do is we proactively provide, address challenges and opportunities with the vision of leveraging technology to solve challenges and improve businesses. Every single day, we look at each one of our tickets as how is this going to make someone else's life and business better? That's the way we approach things. And we are grateful for the opportunity to serve. Truly grateful. I'm going to introduce Kevin Gallagher from OneCloud. And he's going to talk to us about what OneCloud has to offer in regards to providing voice over IP.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me today. I'm appreciative to be here. James, thank you for the invite. And I hope everybody enjoyed the tacos. Good.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So OneCloud has been in business here in the Charlotte area for the last 40 years. Our parent company is Telware. You probably have seen our vehicles, Telware and OneCloud vehicles all over the place. So we do everything from structured cabling to our own UCAS, our own unified phone system. And we're also one of 37 companies in the United States that's vetted by Microsoft to do dial tone for Microsoft Teams. So more and more companies are using Microsoft Teams, and they're, integrating they want to make sure they have everything in a single pane of glass. You can do that with Teams, and we would just provide your dial tone. So very easy to do. But I'll give you some information about us. Some of the features you're going to find on our own UCAS platform. It can do desktop sharing. You have a receptionist console. So for small businesses that don't want to have, a ton of desk phones and button modules and everything else, you can do everything right from a web phone. So a receptionist could sit down at a PC and have every user on the phone system, and they can click and drag and drop calls right over the users. You can do call reporting. There's mobility as well. So if you need something for a mobile app, if you want to be able to take calls directly from your cell phone, we can also install a SIM and eSIM into your cell phone, and that'll allow calls directly through the platform. But you can get reporting on, you can get analytics, just like if you're using a mobile app without using an app. Auto attendance, phone systems. Of course, the biggest thing with our platform is that you can meet your customer on whatever they want to do. More and more people are doing texts, right? They don't want to make a phone call, especially the younger generation. They really would much rather text someone than talk to someone. So that's one of the beauties of UCaaS is that you can text, you can do everything you need to reach out to those customers and gain their business. You do have a web portal for support. We also take care of faxing solutions. So, if you're paying an AT&T or a Spectrum $30 or $40 a month for a fax line, we can have quite a savings and bring you over to our eFax solution or our OneCloud Secure Fax. So there's a lot of different options that we have there. Voice and chat are probably two of the biggest asks that everyone's looking for anymore. They all want to, like I mentioned, you want to be able to get in touch with your customer base wherever they're comfortable. So you can do that through texting. You can do it through voice if they're going to make the phone calls. You can still use desktop phones. However, desktop phones probably in the next 5-10 years, we probably won't see them much anymore. More and more companies are getting away from desktop phones. They're taking the web phone and they're doing a web phone with a headset, taking all the calls directly through a laptop, through their desktop PC. And as you have more and more remote employees, a web phone makes that whole process very simple. You can send somebody home with a laptop and they can take and make calls like they're sitting at the desk at the office. So it just works really well. And you don't have the cost of hardware. So if you want a desk phone, you can get them. But as I mentioned, more and more companies are getting away from them. You're finding a lot of folks using web phones, mobile apps for calls. And the beauty of a web phone is that it's using what's called WebRTC. So it's prioritizing your voice traffic. So you're getting a much better experience than you would if you're trying to take calls over a cell phone and you only have one bar of service. Your experience isn't going to be great. But if you're using a web phone, that internet traffic is prioritized. So it's usually a much better experience.
Kevin, I think there's some OneCloud users in here right now.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
2, 3, maybe some other ones. The app that's on the browser is the same same interface as the app that's on the phone. And can we transfer? I think we have seen where we can transfer calls. If I'm in the middle of a call with somebody, I want to get up and run and do something else, I can transfer it to my cell phone and keep moving.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Open up your
Or I pull
mobile
into
app.
I finally pull into the driveway and get ready to start taking notes on what call I've been on already. I can transfer it over to my PC and
Very easy.
continue that. Okay.
Very easy. Open up the device you want to be on, dial *88. It'll seamlessly move the call over.
Very nice.
Very simple.
Very nice.
OneCloud out of the box has 30 basic features that a lot of our competition don't offer. So, and that's straight out of the box. Now, the biggest thing that separates OneCloud from every other competitor that we have out here is our support team. We're based in the United States. We're actually out of Charlotte. So our guys, when you're calling into support, you're going to be speaking to somebody that's hanging out in your backyard, essentially. So if you have problems, if you need help, we're really close by to help you out. So
how many, if you were to guess, how many clients and or telephone lines, endpoints are you guys supporting out there?
Well, in Charlotte alone, we've got, I think it's 4,400 different customers in the Charlotte area. So average is probably 20 users. So decent number of users. Yeah. And then when it comes to Microsoft Teams, we can do Operator Connect for any company in the United States. So that's really also expanded our footprint. So, I'm sure you're familiar with Harris Teeter. Harris Teeter is probably one of our larger customers. They've got 300 locations in the eastern part of the United States, but we take care of, mom and pop shops also that have 2 phones. So you're going to get the same experience regardless if you're Harris Teeter or a mom and pop shop when you call into our support team. And this is, again, the biggest thing that separates us. You can call our 800 number and you're going to speak to somebody within 10 seconds of making that phone call. Call a Ring Central or a Spectrum or an AT&T, and the difference is it's just out of this world. It's amazing. So That's what we really pride ourselves in is a white glove approach.
Kevin, I have a question on Operator Connect. So
Yeah.
is this more or less like your conference calling?
No, ma'am. So the conference calling with Teams is still a separate piece. What this does is if you opened up your Microsoft Teams window, Microsoft has what's called a standard phone license, and it gives you a little picture of a phone that's an icon, right? What we do is we provide dial tone to that device, so you can do all of your file sharing with your internal teams. And then when you're ready to make a phone call, you click on the phone icon, dial 10 digits, and the dial tone goes directly through us.
Yeah, so right now I can use my Teams to talk internally.
Yep.
Or someone else that I've joined Teams with.
Correct.
But then I could click on that telephone and call wherever I want.
Correct. I don't know if this just popped up. Give it a minute. I'm going to show you real quickly on my Teams. So Operator Connect, Microsoft, they do a really good job of designing software and providing software, but they do not want to be a phone provider, period. They just don't. So what they do is they partner with other companies like OneCloud, and they say, hey, we want you to be in our data centers and provide dial tone to our customers that are using the Teams platform, right? So perfect. So if you're looking here, you'll see this little icon right here. Most folks, depending on what licensing you have from Microsoft for your Teams, most folks may not have that little phone icon. If you do, you can make internal calls to everyone that is on your platform, right? Or in your tenant. What we're going to do is we're going to provide dial tone to that little icon, essentially is what it is. And when you click on it, if you dial 10 digits directly through the dial pad here, you're going to be calling right off your Teams. So that's what Operator Connect does. You can do basic reporting off of it, but you can see, you're still doing file sharing, you're still doing everything else in a single pane of glass, right? So it just makes it very simple to use.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Would that replace the OneCloud app on my cell phone?
If you wanted to use Teams as your dialing platform, yes. What we would do is we would convert you from OneCloud to Operator Connect, or what's called direct routing. Direct routing is just another way of doing the calling through Microsoft, but we do everything in OneCloud on the back end, and then the call just terminates on your device.
I would still have an extension.
Yes.
I would still have rollovers and groups.
HUD groups. When you say rollovers, do you?
Rollovers, like if user A doesn't answer, it rolls over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's very little in the Teams environment that can't be programmed just like any other phone system, right? We would do all the programming on the Microsoft tenant side. And that's where we would build the user groups, we would build the dial plans, everything right there. Yep. And that is directly through Microsoft. Just with us as a phone provider, so to speak.
Are you seeing a lot of your clients move into that away from OneCloud?
It really is based on what the customer is looking for, right? So right now, Teams doesn't offer everything out of the box that OneCloud does. So if you want really enhanced reporting or call recording or those types of features, you're not going to get that with Microsoft yet. So unless you want to add everything a la carte, right? So Microsoft can get you recording, but then you're going to be pairing it with another application to do recording off of Teams. So then the cost gets exorbitant when you compare it to like a OneCloud.
OneCloud is designed to support us from a communications perspective with telephone service.
Yes.
Teams is designed to be a catch-all generalist.
Pretty much. That's a great way to think about it, right? So if I see more enterprise level businesses moving to Teams because they're already using it. They're already licensed for everything that Teams has to offer in most cases. So all they're doing is just adding dial tone to it. OneCloud is perfect for most small businesses because most small businesses want to have the ability, at least a lot of small businesses want to have the ability to maybe look bigger, right? So you can have that auto attendant. You can have multiple different departments coming off that auto attendant. You can have everything that you your customers may want to see, but it still could all route to one person. Right?
Yes,
So you could have a help desk, you could have accounting, you could have sales, you could have all of that. When a person calls in, and it's still gonna route to just me,
I got you.
right? But you also want to have a mobile app, you want to have all these other features. That's where OneCloud really trumps what Microsoft Teams can do. Not to mention the fact, if you needed additional features where you want to do mass messaging, alert notifications, we have our own Alert Blast platform. This pairs with OneCloud perfectly. So if you're doing outreach, whether it be marketing or anything, if you want to do one-to-many for text messages, you can use Alert Blast. We actually designed this as a campus-wide security. Unfortunate, due to the climate we are in right now, where you have mass shootings, you need to be able to get notifications out quickly. That's what we designed Alert Blast for. However, we've got a ton of customers that use it for notifications to their employees. We also have a lot of customers that are using it as a marketing tool. Hey, we've got something going on this weekend, and they can send it out to 50, 60, 70 people, whatever, right?
TechTuesday,
TechTuesday.
11:30 at the chamber.
Yeah.
Chamber.
You can send it out
Be
to
there,
every
free
chamber member,
tacos.
right? You can
That's
send it
right.
out to every chamber member.
Yeah, Bill, you
Still-
listening right here? Bill, you listening here? We got this.
We're starting an hour and a half from now. Be
And-
there, be square.
And tailor the message, yes. So it's very easy to do. But when it comes to the offerings that we have through OneCloud, there's quite a bit. We also have our own faxing, as I mentioned earlier. A lot of businesses need to worry about HIPAA compliance. So all of our products with Secure Fax are HIPAA compliant. Big differences from what,
Do you have an unsecure fax or is it all secure fax?
well, if you're doing a hosted fax, I guess if you look at it as your business, it's a funny joke, but most fax machines are unsecured,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
I agree, yes.
Yeah, so a business will have a fax machine and they'll put it right out in the center of the office, and then you have people sending over all of their personal information that should be going directly to an HR rep or someone. Anybody can go up and grab it. So secure fax does change that because it'll go directly to an email inbox or.
Okay, so prior to this discussion,
Yeah.
that there's a difference between secure fax and unsecure fax.
That's right.
We were all ignorant, right? But now we're either irresponsible by not getting a secure fax, or we're stupid for not getting a secure fax.
So
So that's what you've taken us from ignorant to irresponsible or stupid.
if
We have to choose which direction we're gonna go. Is that
if your
correct?
company worries about HIPAA, you should definitely be policing your fax machine.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, James. Yes, that's very true. And then a lot of companies, Spectrum right now probably is the least expensive provider in the area when it comes to a POTS line. And a POTS line is just a plain old telephone line, right? So it's just a copper line that comes in. The FCC did the Copper Retirement Act, and all of these companies are now eliminating copper phone lines, right? That's what the FCC is allowing them to do, because the cost of them upkeeping it was just absurd, according to the providers. So they're all getting rid of these POTS lines. If you're on AT&T right now for a POTS line, you're spending upwards of $170 a line. It's absurd. So we have our own POTS replacement. It is cellular and it's easy to install. It works fantastic. And more companies are moving to it. We just, Mecklenburg County did just make a change for how the primary fire alarm and secondary fire alarm could be used. They used to just have to be a POTS line. So it had to be a copper trunk coming into your building. And now they've made a change to that where you can use a cellular device, and this has just taken off.
And that's $15 a month, I'm reading.
Yeah.
So we all need to review our bills, especially anybody who has a building with elevator.
Yeah.
Or fire alarms are responsible for that.
Yes, sir.
Any landlords with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. We've got a customer who is downtown. I won't say their name, but they're a huge building management company.
Mhm.
And they had AT&T until about a month and a half ago when we moved them off. They had 27 lines in a single building at $170 a line
Wow,
through AT&T.
how crazy. is
Yeah.
that?
So, and they didn't have great experience with AT&T either. I don't know if you've ever called into AT&T technical support or customer support. Just pray you don't have to get transferred. So. And then, of course, like I mentioned, our customer support is probably the biggest thing that separates us from anyone else. If you're looking for a new platform, if you're not happy with your current phone system, call into our 800 number, talk to our support tech, and just interview us. I think you're going to find, within 10-15 seconds of making that call, you're going to be speaking to a tier 1 or tier 2 employee when it comes to our support team. And it's a night and day difference. So thank you, everybody, for having me. I appreciate it. Anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you said operator connect, there's also direct connect.
Direct
Do
routing.
you offer that as well? And
We
then
do.
can you explain to the group what the difference between those two are?
Yeah. So Operator Connect is when all of your call routing is built inside of your Microsoft tenant. So everything goes through your Microsoft tenant. Essentially, it could be the last phone system you ever buy if you're happy with Microsoft, right? If you
Hold on a second. A Microsoft tenant is where your Microsoft 365 license is.
Mhm.
So if anybody is using Microsoft 365, and I think probably half the people in here at least minimum are using it,
Yeah.
then you have a tenant. You don't see it much.
no,
Usually your IT people see that side of it, but
Mhm.
that same engine that provides you your licensing for Microsoft 365, that routes your email and provides your licenses for Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all that fun stuff.
it's all right there.
There are other admin engines on the back end in which a phone system would be built.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. And it's very rare that most office folks are going to deal with it at all. Like James mentioned, you're going to reach out to James and James is going to take care of adding all the licensing you do and everything else for you on the back end. What we do is we get up with James. If you called us and said, hey, we want to move to Operator Connect, we would get up with James. We would get permission to get into the Microsoft tenant where we would build everything out for you. And like I mentioned, if you feel like Microsoft is a company that you'll never leave, it could be the last phone system you ever buy because everything is built in there. And as long as you're backing up your tenant and keeping all that information securely stored somewhere, you never have to buy another phone system ever again because all of the routing, everything is done. Bam, it's in there. Direct routing is where we would build everything on our platform on OneCloud. When the call comes in, it still comes into your cellular device or your web phone or a desk phone that's a Microsoft Teams desk phone. The end user wouldn't know the difference. So if you're sitting at your desk and you're just a person that's making phone calls every day, you're never going to know the difference on whether we're doing it direct routing or Operator Connect. The administrators and your internal IT and your external IT guys, they're going to be the folks that understand where the call routing is done. Everybody else is just like, I got Teams. I'm making phone calls on Teams. And that's really all it comes down to. That's
The choice being though, is that Teams is limited in functionality. If,
Yeah.
what do you call
Operator Connect is
limited
currently,
and Direct, which uses your back end has more features.
correct. You would still get, you would still be able to do all of the call recording. You would be able to do texting off the platform. Microsoft Teams doesn't do texting. Essentially, what it is, it's like it's a chat, essentially. So you send a message. It's not like you're texting off of your cell phone. So texting is still a little tough with Teams, whether it be Operator Connect or direct routing, but you do get a lot more functionality with direct routing if you need reporting, recording. Those are probably the biggest things you're going to have the differences on. Yep.
What type of licensing did you guys have to require? Like an E3, E5 or none?
Well, Microsoft just did what's called the uncoupling and whatnot. So even if you just have a basic license anymore, you can go in and add a Teams license. And then you need just the Teams and a standard phone license, and you can be up and making phone calls.
Plus your stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, we provide the dial tone. So you'd have the dial tone monthly. Average cost for a Teams user is about $20 a month. And the difference with Teams and most other cloud platforms is you can have as many devices on a Teams as you want to. So if you're a Teams caller, you can have a desk phone anywhere you need a desk phone if you want to use a desk phone. You have your mobile app that you can make phone calls from. You have your web phone that you can make phone calls from. When it comes to most cloud platforms like OneCloud, with our platform, if you're a modern user is $24.99 a month. And that gives you up to 5 different devices that you can use. So mobile app, web phone, desk phone, that kind of stuff. Or you can even do a simple user, because a lot of companies have employees that don't need a ton, right? If they're just a phone taker, they don't need a mobile app. They don't need a web phone. So they can sit at a desk and use a desk phone or a web phone, one or the other. And they're what's called a simple user on OneCloud. And it's a big cost savings. It's $14.99 a month. So that's a huge difference. A lot of our competitors don't offer a simpler user. They want to give you the whole smorgasbord right on each user. And you're paying a heavier cost for that. And it's usually not everything you need.
All right, so I have a very basic user. It's $15 a month.
Yep.
They can have their own extension.
They would.
They'll show up in the directory.
They will.
When someone calls in. They'd be part of hunt groups.
They
so
will.
that if user A doesn't answer, then user B can answer.
Yep.
Um,
They get everything else. The only thing they don't get are multiple devices. So they'd still get transcription on their voicemails. They'd still get voicemail to email. They get all of that. They just don't get, 3 or 4 or 5 different devices. They get one. That's it. That's it.
You also do contact center services. What are your contact center services and how do they relate to your voice offering?
Huge difference. So our contact center offering is omni-channel.
What is omnichannel?
Omnichannel is multiple channels that you can contact anybody through. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of customers don't want to have a voice call. They want to be able to reach out through WhatsApp or Facebook or texting. Our omnichannel call center allows customers to be able to interact with your agent however they want to. A lot of people like to message through WhatsApp. So on an omni-channel call center, your agent would have WhatsApp, they would have a Facebook listing, right? So your agent can manage all of those communications in a single pane of glass. But it's a huge difference.
that's a customer service. Typically, that's a customer service position.
Yes, you're gonna
or-
find it at most
or-
auto dealerships, where they just have a dedicated group of people that do nothing but take phone calls. Those people are using an omni-channel call center. Like I had an amazing experience the other day. I called into Toyota Concord. I ended up taking my vehicle in. I texted the guy, he texted me back. And then the very next day, I get this Facebook message and it says, "Hey, we've got information on your car." And I'm like, "How did he get my Facebook thing? What's going on here?" And then I got a text 30 seconds after I got this Facebook message. And on the text, I pull it up and they have all the listings of every part that my 2006 Toyota Sequoia needs, right? And I can add them all right through my text message, which is amazing. And they're on an omni-channel call center. This is great. You guys need to be talking to me. So, Hendrick, of course, for all their dealerships, their service guys, they're all using an omni-channel call center. And you don't have to be a big business to need an omni-channel call center, because more and more customers want to communicate other ways other than voice. Bless you. Because people want to communicate in texting and all these other ways that we're making for them to communicate. Even a small business should be thinking about, am I losing deals because I don't have the way of communicating with my possible customer base. Right?
Is
No,
that,
it's-
is that customer the type of person who doesn't want to pick up the phone?
Tons of them,
And doesn't want to send an email,
tons of
but
them.
will gladly send a text?
Yes.
But
Yes.
obviously, also monitor your Facebook, your Twitter and all that stuff as well.
Yep.
It'll send out automated responses to, tell folks, that you're in business and then, we'll get to you. And then it'll pop up essentially right in a queue to somebody within your company if you had that
That's
service.
right.
And you'd be able to talk, it would just automatically bring up that person with that question. So it's a wonderful service.
And a lot of people sit at their desk at their PC and they want to research everybody, right? So they go to the website. Well, you get the little web chat. The web chat is part of an omni-channel call center. So as soon as you get that web chat that pops up, there's an agent sitting at their desk who possibly has some of your information already. And they can communicate directly through that web chat with you very easily. Because like my boss, he's 49. I think he just turned 49. And it's funny because this man he hates talking to people on the phone. Absolutely hates it. I know if I have to get in touch with him, I got to text him because he won't call me. I can call him. He won't answer the phone. I got to text him. And when he needs something, like when he's taking his car in for service, anything like that, it's all done over text or web chat. And it's amazing how much quicker you get the responses. 97% of people open a text message in the first 15 seconds of receiving it. That's amazing. Why are we not trying to communicate more with people over text, right? How many people are you losing because you're not communicating over text? Because I can assure you, if I text a business and I don't get a reply, I'm going to the next one. And that's what most people are doing. So yeah, our call center it's an amazing offering.
So does it integrate with like Salesforce or any other CRMs?
Most definitely.
Yeah, what other CRMs?
Zoho, HubSpot, almost every big CRM.
So how does, the example I have is a bank, for example, many banks use Salesforce or CRM.
Oh yeah,
So when a person calls in about their account,
pops up their
it
information
pops
right
up
off
their
the bat.
account, and then they need a business representative like Montez, and Montez sees, oh, they've called about their loan, or they've called about a business inquiry, or they've called about whatever, and they can see how many times, or maybe they've called once, maybe they've called 10 times. He can see within his back office and have that stuff pop up on his screen within the software. And he can click on that stuff and files and pictures and everything else. It's all in just like a central repository communication system is how I like to explain it.
Yes, yeah. When it comes to omni-channel, even just OneCloud, OneCloud does have Salesforce integration. We also have an integrator that'll integrate into 51 different CRMs.
Yeah.
And that's just with OneCloud. That's not with our call center. Our call center, the integration is huge. The biggest thing with the call center though is it's a lot more in depth. So we do a much deeper dive in discovery when we're sitting down with our potential customer to find out exactly how they're going to need it to function.
So let's gauge the room. What's a CRM, folks? Anybody know? Does everyone know what a CRM is?
Yes, yeah, right there.
We got some interns in here. Y'all know what a CRM is? This is a learning moment for y'all.
Use it all the time, don't know what it stands for.
All right, there you go. So,
Yeah, so Salesforce is probably the most widely known CRM. They've done an amazing job.
HubSpot.
Yeah, HubSpot's great.
Uh,
We use Zoho,
Zoho, yeah.
but Salesforce does a great deal of marketing. They're probably one of the most expensive CRMs out there, but it's a fantastic CRM.
So do you operate inside the Salesforce? Do you operate inside of OneCloud,
Salesforce
Salesforce?
directly through Salesforce. So your Salesforce window is open, a call rings in, you'll see the web phone that's attached directly. It's embedded in Salesforce. It just auto-populates, it'll log the call, it'll do everything.
Right, so we've got individual laptops. So the old way used to have another screen, which would be Salesforce. And then this would be your phone and all your information would pop up here. But what he's saying is you now have just one screen
Correct.
for all that stuff. That's a big thing when you're trying to work through all that stuff.
Well, and it's amazing how much customers have come to realize that everyone has this stuff, right? So they're expecting you to be able to, hey, Mr. Gallagher, how are you today? Right? As soon as I call in,
Yes.
hey, is this Mr. Gallagher? It is. Yeah. So they, you know, and they can read all of that right off of your phone number. So,
We use,
That's a VIOP company. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
but
It's
we
a-
don't have,
it's a
we
water-
don't have someone answer the phone. It comes straight in. They can either
auto attendant.
put in our extension, which will come to us, and I can see that it's my AWS line and not my personal line, but it comes through my phone. Or if no one picks up, it is send them a text, so the guy get their information, let us know to call them.
Yep.
Because people do just.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that, if there aren't any more questions, let's finish this up.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Joe, thank you for,
Oh, yeah.
Tech Tuesdays.
Yes.
Thank you.
First one for these guys here, so give them a hand here. They did a great job.
Uh,
All right.
and Kevin, thank you for coming out.
Thanks again for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
everybody else, thank you for coming out and eating tacos and hanging in there while we covered a lot of this stuff. I hope everybody learned something more than just secure facts. All right,
All right. Thank
thank you.
Thanks, guys.